Okay, folks, video 2 of 3. So let's get into Docu. I believe I sent out a long via credit put spread somewhere down here. Yes, it was supposed to be boring credit put spread. It was somewhat boring. So far it is, I should say, not to jinx it. Docu is a good business. I'm not sure how they make money. I use them for free. I don't know why. And they're going into an area that was a prior support that they lost. So in theory, they should face some sellers here. You have 33 days before the next earnings report. I would imagine that 42.5 is a target, if not 41.50 to 42.5. So that whole zone is a target rather than a starting point. So the way I went long was sell something down here. And if nothing happens drastically, I should make my money. I know it's profitable. I could close some if I wanted to, if it's a big order. Otherwise, I made money and I'm not going to buy calls. If I wanted to engage long, I would see if it's going to dip and determine if they're going to hold this support, and they should. So to get long for an upside opportunity, it's better to do it on a dip than to buy it going into a pile of sellers. What does that say? Okay, that was support where we should sell risk into, and now it's a prior fail. So we can take that out and say here, resistance, short-term comment. All right. DT, Dynatrace. Gage is in the business of developing software intelligence, so AI of sorts. Okay, so Dynatrace is looking to stabilize. It is in the hands of the sellers. That's why you have rally sold, rally sold. Let's see if they can make a higher high above 50. Looks like a tall order, but if they can do it, I think they get to 55, maybe 54. So as an investor, maybe you're in it for the long term, then just do that. If it comes back down to 40, it's a gift. 41.40 would be a gift entry. Anything below 41 makes sense. Okay, now ominous comments. If they lost, how about, let me say it this way. They need to hold 45.5. Otherwise, they might get to 40 or 39. So if they, let me give you a visual rally drop. You don't want that to happen. Okay? Because that's what happened here. Just be aware. That would make an entry point down here. I don't know anything about the company. Devon, I believe I put some lines for somebody. I said I would buy the dip from up here. They went above my target, but they dipped. So if you were patient listening to me, here's what probably happened. The person asking, I said buy the dip and it did this, and they said screw it, Nick was wrong, let me buy calls. Just patience. If you miss a rally, I promise you will have another opportunity to trade the stock. So if you didn't chase, you got the dip I said to wait for, and you would have been excellent, in an excellent shape to get the rebound. Anyway, it's in the hands of the sellers. They're selling rallies. It's up to the bulls to prove that they can take this out. Let's see if they can get to 49.50. And if they can, I would stay long for this opportunity to finish this arrow. Otherwise, buy the dip. There's a weak spot on the chart until 44. So if it gets to 44, get long against this and stop out from a trading perspective. eBay. I did buy something on eBay last week, so buy the shares. Buy. No. eBay more than did what we thought it can do, which is curl back down and make a lower low. It curled back down and made a much lower low than I thought. To be fair, the market also did. So this was a good entry point against this prior support. Okay. So rally back into a neckline is not a good opportunity to get long. So now that it's rallied into 41.50, I wouldn't touch it. Let's see if they can come back and test the neckline of 39.50-ish and hold. Don't know what Enbridge is. I do know I've covered it before. They're selling rallies. Don't be faked out. Look at it. Rally sold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the 8th rally. This one is from a higher low. So maybe, I'm not saying it is. They've bottomed. Maybe. So will they start buying dips? Big test at 47 to 48. Big test. Okay. Don't assume it, and I would buy the dip. I think you will have an opportunity to enter around 45.10. 45.10. Energy Transfer. The reason why these spiked, if this one pays a dividend, and I think it does, is because the interest rates collapsed last week, right? So anything that pays a dividend gets lift, and the market's rallied. This here is not an obvious entry point. Look at the red line. The red line is the highest point of volume. So yes, this is a breakout zone, but oh boy, it is resistance until it's taken out. And resistance here, and it's a zone. Not an obvious point of entry, but if you do want to get long, buy the dip and hopefully it makes a higher low. But if you're long and you're holding from the bottom, okay, just make sure, don't forget to know if you're trading or investing. EVgo. The sellers are in charge. Every rally is getting sold. Pick your level. This is a tough level, 1 of 3. Second one is at 2. Third one is at 320. So right here, there's a lot of resistance at 2 and at 320. So for me, I wouldn't touch this company. I'll tell you, if you're an investor, first of all, they have earnings in 3 days. If I'm an investor in it for the long term and I did my homework and I bought my shares, I don't touch it. If I bought one pile of shares and I still have room to add more, if I bought them a lot higher than here, then maybe I add a little bit more down here. I just don't see the need to be involved in that whole industry. I think the EV is in deep schmutz business because the rhetoric will flip on it on a dime. We need better battery technology, period, end of story. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. It is an absolute fact. So what's going to happen to the EV industry? Yeah, so double check your fundamentals. And I wouldn't double down if I already took a position and it's underwater. If my position is full-sized. What is this? Flex. Strong rejection of the dip. So you can say that there are buyers below 25 confidently. So if you dip below 25, it's an entry level. And then you have sellers at 27.50 and 28. I think if you take out 28, you'll get 31.50. Trading comment. They're buying dips inside of a ascending channel. The opposite of those other ones. So the bulls are in charge. Fortinet, it was a great opportunity to buy the dip in Fortinet if you were fast enough. I don't think I did because there wasn't enough premium, which means the market makers were comfortable. But look what happened. Look at that arrow we put. Look at where they went. So machines are in charge. So when this stock comes back into 55, it's going to be facing a lot of sellers. Why? That was the ledge from which they fell. I would not go to long the stock above 55 to 58. That is an exit zone short term. Alphabet fell off a cliff. That's because it was just too high. The earnings report was not bad. Now it's back almost 50% of this drop. This usually is not an opportunity to get long. Short term, when a stock falls from one point to another, and this one did, and the same stock bounces halfway-ish, that's a place of rest for the bulls. So let's see what they do. Will they come back to 127 and hold and make higher highs? Then it would be an opportunity to engage on a dip. So anything below 127 would be interesting short to mid-term swing. Nothing wrong with Google's fundamentals, by the way. I don't care what you read in the headline. Oh, they missed her. Listen, stop listening, stop reading the missed and beat like it's something. It doesn't mean anything. Don't take my words. Warren Buffett tells you that. These missed and beat, they don't mean anything. It's somebody's opinion. Go read Warren Buffett's statement on that. It's just somebody's opinion. What if they beat and the business is shrinking, but they beat the estimate? It's a crappy story, right? And vice versa. What if they missed estimates and the business is growing hand over fist? Who cares what one person thinks? So please focus on the actuals. Google's actuals are fantastic. Okay. I don't know what this is. Greenland Technology. What does Greenland do? Manufacture and development of electric industrial vehicles. Okay. Not for me. At least it has a P&L. So do your homework on the fundamentals. Great rally. It could come to 2.4. It could go to 3.3. I don't know which you will do first. So if you're an investor, don't try to time it. Invest in it halfway and add the other half whenever you deem appropriate. What is going on with these tickers? The bulls are in charge. Higher lows, higher highs. I wouldn't chase it up here, but the bulls are in charge. So I want to caution you about this potential. The next rally into 2540 fails. Whoops. Tag nabbit. If it does fail, will they breach some sort of this? So what am I saying? If you're buying for this, book your profits as a trade, not an investment. But if you're investing in this company, just please review your own thesis on it. There are support around 2350 or lower. There's better support around 2150 to 22, and of course, much better support into 20. A breach of 2650, or if they take this candle out, they can get up to 28, which was the prior fail. So hopefully that helps you to trade. The investment part is on you. We don't have enough time. I don't know who that is. Did you mean Intel? I'm going to assume you meant Intel. Okay. So not an obvious entry point. It might go to 39, but I think you will also have an opportunity to get long around 37, 36. So if you're investing, then these won't make a difference higher or lower. If you're trading, this is not an obvious entry point. Look at it. They're swinging wildly inside of a very wide ascending channel. So the bulls are somewhat in charge, but there's dips and peaks and valleys. Make sure to time it correctly. Okay. All right. So this is Intel. I'm going to go to the IWM. I'm not going to spend much time here because I'm going to have a special video for these. I can tell you this is not a place where I would start longs. You're going into a huge fail. Buy the dip for an opportunity to cover back up and get to 184. Hopefully we hold the dip, not to go 100% and then some. So far, they go 100% and then some. So KLA, huge sellers 1, 2, 3 times. This is the 4th time. I wouldn't touch it here if I'm not long until at least 510. And even then I would have a tight stop because there's a hard seller at 520. Take out 520, I don't know where you go. 565, 570. But it's better if you buy the dip into 480 if you have it, or 495. Anywhere inside this zone down here. The closer to 460, the better. KLA. Pretty strong performance, but look why. The P&L is beautiful. So I don't know the company very well. I've been to their headquarters, but I don't know what they do. Click. No, not for me. This is where I would exit if I was long. They're selling rallies, and this is a rally that's going into the heaviest point of volume in a year, or not a year, since January, all year. Not for me. So there's a hard seller around 47.50, give or take 50 cents. Doesn't make sense to go long into it. The next dip, if I like it, I would get long as long as they can hold 42, 41. Decent P&L though. I'm not sure what's well. Never mind. The quarterlies are not good. It had a so what is this? Materials. What is it? Design, manufacture, sale of capital equipment. Capital equipment. How do you manufacture capital equipment? What is a capital equipment? Bulldozers that cultivate money trees. What is that? Can somebody tell me, please? Thank you. Capital equipment. Okay. LRE. Real estate. Avoid. Definitely not for me. I don't know much, but I know that the real estate business cannot be doing well in this environment. Study the company. Nothing I can tell you about it right here. It's too small. The chart doesn't say anything. It says sellers and buyers, and they're stuck in the middle. LSCC. Latisse. Latisse is falling off a cliff. Latisse must be going out of business. No, it probably isn't, so do your homework on that part. I can tell you they don't like this zone very much. Look left. They don't want to spend some time here. They just gap up and down through it. They fell into support. So if you got out here, you're one of the persons that are feeling much better now that you want to buy stocks. That is not what you do. The stock fell into extremely strong support and it's bouncing off. I don't think it's going to be easy to get back to 68, but if it does, I would be out. Sellers all over. Let's see if they hold a retest of 52, and if so, you get long with stops. So you buy shares, you buy calls, or you sell puts, whichever fits your style, and you wait to see if you need to stop out at X% loss or you exit with X% gain. Meta. Not an obvious point of entry until they take out 319. If they take out 319, I think Meta will make 338, 340. Yeah, because then it would be some sort of an inverse head and shoulders theoretically with about 30 points. But let's give it half. Let's give it 20 points. 334. But you need to take that out. 319. Capital intensive machines. Okay. The way they word it is like capital equipment. It's like, Okay. Thank you for looking that up. I appreciate it. We have awesome members. Okay, this one looks pretty bullish, right? But to buy long into this fail that has been failure before takes a lot of guts. Money lion. I don't know what that is. So don't short it, because if they take this out, they're going up to here. But don't buy calls because they're likely to fail. So buy calls on a dip. But that is an amazing response into earnings. Oh, yeah. So it's a wild card into earnings. I wonder what it's going to do around the earnings. The chart says going into a prior fail and buy the dip. But earnings. Okay, I don't know what that is, so we'll skip it. Wow, quite a few bad tickers today. I already fixed a couple. People, you need to be careful putting in your tickers. So let me pause. All right, we are on MP materials. The bears are definitely in charge. You can see it. Don't argue with the price action. You do have support, but it's so old from 2020. I don't know how surgical it is. So the only recourse we have is to get into the short term. What is going on? What just happened? Why everything is one day? That was very weird. All the charts changed at the same time. Okay, so I was saying, since it's lower lows and lower highs and the support is too old, you should treat this as the only support you have left. And you're stuck in the middle between an extremely hard seller at 1770 and a strong buyer at 1520. Ping pong inside of that. The breach of this might get you that. The loss of this, take your pick, 14, 1350. So respect the sellers. They are in charge. If you buy the dip, treat it as a look at this P&L. Be careful, folks. Study the companies. Marvel, I wanted to go long. Did I? I don't remember. Anyway, it was on my list to go longs. Maybe I chickened out. This bounce is great, but you're going into a prior fail, so the whole zone is going to be a little bit difficult to overcome. All right, so it was good to sell a put or a put spread, and if you bought shares or a call, you have profits. If you bought calls as a trade, this is where I would exit, leave money on the table. It does have support at 46. If you lose 46, you're going to come down to 40, at which point it would be a great entry point. See, I have an alert down here, which did not trigger. So ping pong inside this zone for now. It has decent fundamentals, so it does qualify for me. Microsoft, I can't believe we're doing this, right? Just a couple weeks ago, everybody was looking down, down, down. So Microsoft is at 350. In theory, they just broke out of a prior fail. The prior fail for earnings was amazing. That candle, the spike candle on earnings, which is up to 352, they closed above it. Let's see what they do this week around that candle. So 352 to 347. Okay, keep an eye on that spot. If you're an investor for the long term, then you're doing your thing. If you're a trader and you got long and you got all these profits and you still cannot pull the trigger on booking some of these profits, I don't know what to say. Don't fall in love with a trade. If it's a trade, book it. If it's an investment, fine. Don't forget it's a trade if it is a trade. So I'm not telling you to short it. I'm just telling you don't forget to book your profits. They're not profits until they hit your account. Definitely not an entry point. I say that with complete confidence, at the risk of missing out. The breakout from 67 will get you 76 maybe, but okay. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fails. That's the 12th. This time it's different? No. Until they show you it's different. The one confident thing, next time it dips, buy the dip with confidence. You missed it. Netflix. Great price action. Not an obvious entry point, but it is a good, strong move. You're going against failures from September. So you might have room, but starting longs here, I don't think so. I think it dips to 420. It could make headway. It will follow the markets. It has taken out a prior fail, so dips into 415 are reasons to buy and see if you can curl back up. To start longs here, not for me. This is the highest point of volume since last summer. Not this summer, last year's summer. There's likely to be sellers hiding. Their content might be getting better again. Maybe it's my impression. Let's see here. NOV Inc. Who is this? Oil and gas. Anyway, a lot of sellers above 20 and a half, 21. Not my opinion. That's a seller above 21. That's a seller above 21. Those are all sellers above 21. So it looks like up here is reasons to book profits and buy the dip into support. So 1960 support, 1970, better support at 19. A lot of resistance at 21.20, 24, 21.5. So use that information to trade accordingly. All right, so this is the end of the second video.